Morning, I'm CK. Thank you for letting... I'm CK and I'm a marketer. And I am passionate about innovation. I'm not here to sell you on mobile. Don't listen to what anyone says. I don't make any money if you sign up with AT&T or Verizon. I'm here to sell you on innovation. That's it. And at the end of the day, what's your job as marketers? To make sure that people not only get to your store, but they're inspired to buy more, develop more of a relationship and a connection to your brands once they're in your store, correct? And so, what are we looking at? We're looking at the last 15 years of unprecedented innovation. I'm old enough, just old enough, to remember a time when we were excited when these things, well, they weren't even laptops yet. They were just desktop computers, and they connected us to something called the internet, or now the internets. Thank you to George Bush and everyone else, right? And we were excited that you could actually go and get information, or that you could put a search query into Google and not have to use, dare I say it, the Dewey Decimal System or microfiche to be able to access information on a global scale. Then wonder of wonder, miracle of miracles, all of a sudden marketers started saying, and people started saying, and techies started saying, if we can connect to things like websites, we can connect to things like people. So now we have digital. It's okay, you should have heard my ringtone that went off this. It was thematic for Sam, I'll just say that. This is the one speech where I ask everyone to keep their cell phones on, by the way. It's not like a Broadway play. Anyhow, so then all of a sudden we get to social media. And we say, if we're going to connect people to sites and to information, why not connect them to one another? So we get that second innovation within the last 15 years. And then we get to the third innovation, which is mobile media. Now understand, we've actually had cell phones for the last 38 years. Does anyone remember the first Wall Street, Gordon Gekko, Breathe is Good, the big brick phone? Okay, so we've actually had cell phones. We just really haven't had that great a service, and we certainly haven't had 3G. I was working with a wireless company back in 99, 2000, and they told me of a glorious future where day traders and Wall Street, traders could get all this information on their smartphones, but they were waiting for 3G and the spectrum to arrive. So I'm like the kid in the back seat, because I'm the marketer that wants to keep pushing the envelope, saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet? We weren't there yet until about 2007, 2006. So we now have what's being called the early innings of a massive phenomenon. What I want you to take away, we talked about this last night a little bit, from this more than anything else, is that it's not about these nifty little devices and cool little gadgets. These are just the screens. And the big joke's on us, because guess what? We both know these are obsolete within 6 months, and we got to keep buying and keep buying. That's not the story on mobile. The story on mobile is anytime, anywhere access. And with anytime, anywhere access to all this information, it makes our consumers, our customers, our prospects more demanding on us, because they want what they want, when they want it, how they want it, and they're going to buy, period. So now, our jobs as marketers, they just became a heck of a lot more demanding. And what I tell my colleagues is you can look at it in one of two ways. You can be really exciting in these exasperating, demanding times. Or you can look at it and say, oh, another thing on me. But remember this, it could have been that the big innovation of our time wouldn't have been digital, social, and mobile. It would have been the fax. But look at how lucky we are to have so much innovation. And I want to get across here the numbers. Because understand, my job is to always go in front of the boardroom and say, there's a business case here, folks, to innovate around these media. Now, we've got 6.8, 6.9 billion human beings on this big round ball we call planet Earth. Right now, we actually have 5.3 billion mobile devices. That spans feature phones, that spans smartphones, that spans tablets, so on and so forth. But to understand the gravity, And we only had really 3G, and now we're looking at 4G for broadband. Since 2007, these numbers are stunning. Let me give you some comparisons. First of all, more mobile devices in the entire world. I'm talking rich, poor, young, old, 20s, 40s, 60s, 80s. If you get Barbie these days, by the way, have you noticed she comes with an iPhone? And they really smartened her up. It's that much a part of our culture. We're all geek chic. There are more mobile devices than there are TVs, PCs, and landlines worldwide. Already. 700 million Facebook accounts. He even got a movie. He was Times, Man of the Year. And you know what? Respect. Not the most engaging speaker, but what a brainiac, right? The reason Facebook continues to soar, because now that we have these social networks, do we really not check in while we're on the go? Now we can always stay in touch with them. The killer app for iPhone, Twitter. The killer app for Droid, Facebook for Droid. This was the #1, the top-rated event viewing history in America. Did everyone remember that when the New Orleans Saints took the Super Bowl, what a Cinderella story it was? That was 106.5 million viewers for 4 hours. Can anyone tell me what a 30 or 60-second ad claimed for money during that? $1 million to $2 million. That's 2% compared to mobile's 5 billion subscriptions. 700 million users, 14%. Heck, 1.7 billion netizens. I'm talking PCs and laptops. That's 34% compared to those that have smartphones, feature phones, tablets worldwide. And understand, just in the last 60 days, in the U.S. alone, there's 280 million carriers, of mobile devices. Why aren't there 330 million? Since there's 330 million people, because some of those people are still like 0, 1, and 2, and 3 years old, okay? So that's why it's not all 330 million yet. But understand that smartphones now surpass feature phones for penetration. For a iPhone 3G, 50 bucks at Walmart. It's no longer insurmountable to get these data-rich devices. By 2020, Ericsson and Cisco have come out and said there will be 50 billion mobile connections. Now understand what they mean here. They mean that not only will you have smartphone, tablets, and other mobile devices, they're also saying across M2M, machine to machine. So you know how when you buy something at Amazon and you want to track it through UPS and you're able to do that? It has an RFID chip to it. That's mobile, okay? And it's able to talk to another machine that feeds that data back to you. Good morning, come on in, get a coffee. But what they're saying here is within under 10 years, mobile is going to be the way all things will go. So another key point, I said, anytime, anywhere media is important for you to understand. Another thing for everyone to understand here is that right now it's really cool and hip and cutting edge to be mobile. Pretty soon, it's the way all things will go. And by pretty soon, I expect that mobile will no longer be a selling proposition. It will just be like, what are you, a dinosaur if you're not on board? Within the next 48 months. It's just the way that all things will go. Remember what I said last night? I said the most important thing that Steve Jobs said when he took the stage 2 years ago now to introduce the iPad 1 was not that we have a whole new computing category smack dab in the middle of the laptop and the smartphone, the tablet computer. He said Apple is no longer a computing devices company. We're now a mobile devices company. iPhone, iTunes, iPad, iPod. And he's saying this because this is the way all things will go. It's just that we are mobile and our expectations are mobile. Now, like I said, it's not just phones, and it's indeed dramatically changing the world, but the most important thing that I can talk about today is how it's changing our world here. You know, they call it the newest era in retail evolution. Remember when bricks and clicks was the cool lingo that we used? Again, this was way back 12 years ago when that internet was something cool that could connect us. But then it was, not only do we have bricks and mortar, but bricks and clicks. And man, That was a battle. Remember all that disintermediation and how to understand, well, will our stores or our franchisees get upset because they're buying online? And to be able to understand how to best balance all those buying channels? Well, now it's really gone to bricks and mobile. So the new term, the new lingo you're probably going to hear more and more is bricks and mobile. And it really nets out into how people shop with their phones, how people shop online through their phones, and how people use their phones, their mobile devices, to make their buying experiences and their buying and their purchases that much better and that much deeper. Now, when you look to the real veterans here in the retail space, understand what they're saying about mobile. And they're not talking necessarily about mobile commerce and selling more and selling more. What they're saying is, use mobile in creative ways that can engage them further and deepen the experience. Or use mobile to provide a superior shopping experience, or use mobile to not only sell, but to perform research and learn about your buyer, not only why they buy, but why they're not buying. There are so many ways you can use mobile, whether it's through SMS, through apps, through location-based marketing, to learn more about your core customer. What I really like here is what PacSun said. He said, creating a personal shopping experience by empowering the customer to explore, discover, and understand what the story is behind the merchandising. So now and I have some examples of this, now we can get deeper and deeper with our customers and make more connections, because you know what? We always know that they're always empowered because this is always on them. Does anyone here remember the last time? I'm going to assume that everyone here has a mobile device. Good assumption? Anyone here remember the last time they left their mobile device at home by mistake? What was your feeling that day at work? Panic? Anyone else here remember? Someone might have felt peaceful. I mean, that's cool too. Anyone else remember the last time you left it at home?
Went home and got it. Yeah.
Went home and got it, yeah. Well, as I was telling Ray, a very kind investment banker of Bank of America actually found my mobile device. I've lost 2 of these in the back of New York City cabs. Every year, just in New York City cabs alone, just with smartphones, not including laptops, not including New York City bars, no. 64,000 of these puppies are lost every year. 2/3 of them make it back to their owner. The first one did not make it back to me. The second one, I got up the next morning, was looking for my mobile phone, my landline. I know, it's funny. I still have a landline. It rings, thank God. And it's Ian at Bank of America saying, I felt a vibrating device under my foot this morning on my way into work. He had found my phone. Now I have a fancy screen on my phone, if lost, contact CK, and I have a cute little joke that says, the reward is $1 million or anything I have close to it. So I had to say to Ian, we're going to need to talk about the financial arrangements that were promised to you, because it's going to have to be a payment plan. Point of the matter is, that first thought is, OMG, where did I leave it, and what priority am I missing? I gave out this figure last night, but show of hands, who here is subscribed to an email newsletter for marketing? Any kind of email newsletter, okay. Who here, keep your hands up, has let that email newsletter stay in their inbox for more than 2 days? 3 days? Who here has sometimes deleted them altogether because they're really stressed out and just can't get to them? Yeah, me too. Here's the deal. Text that we sign up for, over 95% of all texts are read, and read within 3 minutes of receipt. I promise you, marketers, email newsletters do not have that kind of read and receipt and confirmation rate, because everything that's happening on these devices is a priority to us. So I really like what PacSun is saying, and where I'm really going to focus you today is not get mobile, go mobile, it's all exciting to be mobile, it's how do you use it in smart ways? How can you use it to learn more about your customer? How can you use it not as a tick the box, we've got SMS alerts, tick the box, we have an app. It's what works best for you, okay? Now, interestingly enough, Deloitte forecasts that in 2011, 25% of all tablets are bought for business, but guess who's leading the charge? Retailers. So you're going to see a lot more of these tablets, as you already are, in-store use. But again, this move is all part of retailers' response to better embrace customers and how they're shopping, and to give them an exemplary shopping experience. I was at the airline yesterday, Delta in JFK. I was amazed at the amount of tablets they had everywhere for me to check my email, for me to check on different things going on at the office, or for me to just waste time. But it was another way to engage. And why don't all airlines have Wi-Fi for free on board and just increase our tickets by $10? It keeps us quiet. I'm like, if you want to keep us docile, give us a free movie and give us access, right? It keeps, if you want to shut us up, give us something. Sorry. All right, anyhow, this is a perfect way to keep your shoppers engaged, or to even give them convenience. What if the panic that has us leaving our mobile devices at home, wouldn't it be nice, just in case, if Macy's, if the Container Store, so on and so forth, were to have these tablets so I could check my email, just in case I left my mobile device at home, because we value our customers. So, the new shopping companion, always on, always with us, always connected to the web, and forget about it. It empowers shoppers to buy what they want, how they want, when they want it. New Walmart commercial is, hey, it's actually a lower price by 50 cents down the road, and everyone's saying match it, match it, match it, match it. Of course we're going to have to match these prices. Or, marketing 101, we're going to have to show why, yeah, maybe our prices are more expensive, because they're worth it. This is what we're able to give our customers. There's always two ways to slice it. But the point of the matter is, we ain't going back, because we're now all empowered to buy what we want, how we want, the information where we want, whenever we want. So, the new mobile empowered shopper. I know you guys are hearing a lot about this, but I wanted to give you some updated stats. First of all, as we sit here today, more than 50% of smartphone owners are already using their devices to enhance their shopping experience, and we'll look at how they're using them. And 2/3 under 35. So understand, everyone's talking about how mobile is always for the young. No, it's spanning all age groups. Is there more use and more adoption in younger age demos? Absolutely. But they're using smartphones for comparing prices, finding all sorts of store locations and checking for discounts. 1 out of every search on all smartphone devices has a local intent. What does that mean? Where is the closest Supercuts to me? That's what I want to know. And when we do a search on the computer, on the desktop, we may take action and actually conduct that purchase within 3 days, 3 weeks. But when I'm doing a search, it's just really obvious. On my mobile, I'm looking for information right there and then. And 50% of searches, they result in buying within 1 to 3 hours later. It's astounding, but it makes a lot of sense. So this is really important for everyone to understand. SEO, search engine optimization, more important than ever. Here's the funny thing, Google, as if it didn't make enough money already. Google hasn't even gotten started making money, because search is where it's at on the mobile device. Think about how we look for things, how we need things. So you guys' local searches and all that, more important than ever. Those SEO agencies or in-house SEO professionals that you guys hire, more important than ever. Those traditional, making sure you have the keywords and the tags and the links, more important than ever. Because I'm searching on my mobile device, I want it now or within an hour. I want to find out where it is near me, and don't make it a problem for me to find it, because guess what? I'm just clicking to the next. Of those, 79% use a smartphone to help with shopping, and 70% use it while in the store. These are pretty obvious statistics, but it's important to understand how high these stats are in such a quick amount of time. 76% that use their smartphones to help them shop purchase in store versus purchasing through a mobile website. Mobile commerce, I'm not knocking it, but it's not the only way we're shopping. I remember back when, bricks and clicks was new and everyone said, do you think that retailers will survive? And I'm like, guys, it's not that we're not going to have brick and mortar stores anymore. We're going to have more convenience. We're going to have hybrid models. But most people are actually using their mobile devices to find a physical store and to compare prices, to get coupons, to read reviews. Here's social media. I want to hear reviews of your bank. I want to hear reviews of the new specialty pizza, not from Domino's, no offense, from people who have eaten it. And so Domino's, spectacular social media story on how they've involved their audiences. And now I can hear from your audiences that in fact the new garlic crust is all it's cooked up to be, rather than just hearing it from the actual company. And 34% to search in-store inventory. So here I want to ask a question. When you guys think of mobile and you think of tools, what do you think of? Apps. Tell me, don't look at the screen. Tell me, right, don't look at the screen. Tell me 3 other mobile tools. Tell me 3 other mobile tools.
QR codes.
QR codes, okay. Tell me other,
They're all there.
Tell me 2 more mobile tools, just throw them out. We've got QR codes and apps. Here's the thing, because apps, we are an app-happy world, as I call it. I love apps. I love mobile, but you know what? Everyone's going to app, and I'm like, why? What's the value? Because there is a value and there is a why, but not for everyone. And they've forgotten that at the very beginning, folks, we're at the very beginning of mobile. We had everything from mobile websites to SMS alerts and campaigns, which by the way, may sound like the crudest tool of all, these SMS texts. They're the most successful campaign in mobile you can do, and they're the least expensive, funny enough. Video and audio, social media, proximity marketing, mobile advertising, NFC, I'll go through these in a bit. But understand the breadth and depth and range you have available to you at the very, very beginning of mobile. Funny thing is, this, between the statistics of 5 billion, going from 3.4 billion to 5 billion in 12 months, and this slide alone, trying to keep up with everything that's happening in the mobile space, I just have to keep adding more and making the text smaller and smaller and smaller because there's so much going on. And so a lot of things that I want to get across are, one, it's anytime, anywhere media, not these nifty devices, and how that changes our expectations, and that it's not just apps. Though I love apps, it's a full range, breadth and depth. So we've got a new retail era, okay, of bricks and mobile. We have a new shopping companion of our smartphones. We have newly empowered shoppers who just are all sorts of smart because they have all the information at their fingertips. And we have all these marketing tools. So that's great, CK, but what the heck does it mean for you? Okay? And that's what we want to talk about. The overview here is that you need to innovate your marketing, in-store and out, to align with these new innovative media. The question is how. Okay, so understand, since I've been through emerging media like Web 1.0, social media, and mobile, it's not that I'm selling you on certain emerging media or certain technologies, but I will always push, I'm a pusher, for marketing innovation. Because there's always 2 things I look out for any industry and any company. 1, improve ROI. Duh, of course. But 2, and this is where people forget, and it's so important to remind our companies, our departments, our leadership, ensure your relevance. And people say, well, relevance, it takes a while to lose that. And I say, well, has anyone talked to Borders lately and what happened with Amazon in the last 10 years? Guys, you have amazing companies that you've built 10, 20, 30, 40 years. I say to any industry, don't blow it in the space, the one space where the cost of entry could be a few hundred, few $1,000s for your competitors. So it's always improve ROI, return on investment, increase those sales, and to ensure ongoing relevance. There's one way that we can ensure we won't be relevant, and that's not to adopt and embrace these new media. And I'm not saying embrace them like shiny new objects and tick the box. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, we have it all. Always go about it in a strategic way, but make sure we're always embracing these new media. So the question is, how are we going to do that? Have you guys heard of the term mobile-enabled commerce? It's a term that I really want you to be thinking about and remembering. Because you're probably hearing mobile commerce, right? You're probably hearing mobile shopping. But where you guys need to focus and where the smart marketers are focusing in this sector is leveraging mobile-enabled commerce to increase in-store engagement and here's the kicker, inspire in-store sales. Now let me explain what mobile-enabled commerce is. It's not just about pulling customers into the store with your marketing, which is important, we want to get them there, but it's about inspiring them and engaging them once they're in our domain. And mobile lets us do that in ways that are never before seen or never before done. So, some definitions. Mobile commerce. That is CK taking out her phone, going on Flickster to buy movie tickets, and purchasing those movie tickets through her mobile device. That's mobile commerce. And it's another channel just like online, okay? Mobile shopping. Mobile shopping is, I'm going to Walmart, I'm bringing my smartphone, and while I'm shopping for different produce or different back-to-school goods, I'm also comparing and checking prices on my smartphone, but I'm buying inside the store. That's mobile shopping. Mobile-enabled commerce, however, is once DK is in that store, what has Domino's, what has Container Store done through mobile to engage me at the point of sale, to inspire sales further? So I may have gone in there because, oh, my closet's in a bad shape, and as you know, I live in a small little New York City apartment, and I need to get things nice and neat and stacked. But all of a sudden, through mobile, through creativity, you've shown me a whole new way, an end-to-end full solution for that entire closet, not just for stacking those shoes just right. So that's mobile-enabled commerce. And guys, this is where we get really strategic, and this is where we'll really win with this. So remember, there's out-of-store incentives through mobile, and that's all about using mobile to incentivize you to come into the store. Important, but only half the story, not the story. Mobile also is in-store inspiration, where we use mobile to inspire you and me once we're inside that store, and to engage them further. So that's why I'm calling mobile the ultimate in-store engagement tool. Now, let's go through 3 strategies and a heck of a lot of examples to make this very tangible, okay? Luckily, we talked last night a bit about the mobile initiatives you have going on and what you have dabbled in and what's coming insofar as success, and we'd love to hear more about those at the end of this discussion, or feel free to interject. If you have any questions, just throw them out. But first, we want to do 3 things with 3 key strategies. One is we can implement purchase incentives, okay? A big purchase incentive, no way around it. Coupons, discounts, promotions, specials. And decision-making tools. So implement purchase incentives and decision-making tools through mobile to encourage those sales, okay? Because as a customer, I'm now savvy because I've got all the information in the world at my fingertips. Make it easier and give me those decision-making tools. Don't make me at Best Buy go and say, actually, you weren't the Best Buy. Amazon or my Red Laser app, it's an app called Red Laser that compares all prices, shows that you're not the cheapest. Make sure you make it easier for your customers right when they get in the store or outside of it with decision-making tools and that knowledge. Second, and we'll go through examples of each of these, create in-store experiences. This is my favorite one. Think of the experience of being in a store, the tactile experience, all 5 senses, what you're able to do when you have them inside a store. With mobile tools, so you can inspire purchases and do what? Create and deepen brand connections. You've got them in the store, why not deepen that relationship? Third way you can use mobile as a key strategy to inspire sales. Develop branded content activities that span outside the store as well as inside that not only deepen those experiences, but do what? Foster WOM, word of mouth, and sharing. Remember, social and mobile dovetail beautifully. And when I get a special sale or I find that pretty skirt I've been looking for, that special on that pizza, I want to share that with my network so I become an advertiser for you, and you. So we want to foster that. So these are the 3 key strategies, and I want to go through each of these 3 for the rest of the presentation and give examples on each. So first and foremost, we're talking about implementing purchase incentives and giving them decision-making tools through mobile. Anyone heard of kick apps? Okay. I go into a CVS, I go into a Walgreens. I, as a consumer, have kick app, I'm so sorry, have shop kick on my smartphone, okay? And as soon as I come into CVS, because it's like a transmitter, and it's like a handshake between the device that's in CVS and my device, I'm sent coupons through my mobile device for, specifically, CVS, for Walgreens, for Walmart, okay? So this is a way that's location-based marketing in many, many ways at the point of sale as soon as I enter the store. So this is one type of mobile couponing. And I'm going to go through about 4 to 5 different types of mobile couponing because you're going to be hearing so much about it and because they're doing so well. Time was we actually cut coupons out of a newspaper. Well, time was we actually went into a store and got a circular that would say what was on special that week. That's gone. Now it can just be downloaded to our mobile device as soon as we walk in the store. So this is one way we can do a purchase incentive for our consumers. Another way is, anyone here been experimenting with Bluetooth technology? So Bluetooth technology is on most smartphones. So you go into a 7-Eleven and you'll see LED screens and it'll say, enable Bluetooth on your phone. This would actually work really great with Bank of America. Enable Bluetooth on your phone for certain discounts, for specials, for the like. Now understand, as a consumer, I have to absolutely sign up and opt in for every stream of SMS alerts. It's absolutely illegal to just spam the world on their cell phones. Can you imagine if it wasn't opt-in? We marketers are very bad at polluting all sorts of media. Can you imagine our phones would never stop ringing with all the SMS alerts? So you absolutely have to be able to sign up. But with proximity marketing, being in a certain proximity, in the UK, in cinemas, they use this a lot. When you're watching trailers, it'll say enable Bluetooth, and to your phone it says get 50% or 50 cents off of popcorn and a Coca-Cola. And it's just while you're there, it's just a technology where it shows coupons or shows specials on your phone, but does not have access to your mobile phone number. And you can always disable Bluetooth. But this is another way to be able to connect with the consumer while they're in the in-store environment. This is usually within 100 meters. It needs to be a very close range is what I'm saying. Not as close a range as, say, a QR code that needs to be within like 3 to 5 centimeters, okay? You guys have seen, have any of you done like displays where you have short codes, you know, you text to a short code for a cert? Okay, you might have seen like visual displays and window displays. This is a great way to go ahead and experiment as well, okay? Because you're giving customers a certain amount off, okay? Is it as creative as, say, creating an activity or deepening an experience? No, but money talks. So another way to do it is to use SMS alerts and a short code. By the way, a short code, you can get a dedicated short code, that's like $1,000 a month, or you can do shared short codes for a couple $100 a month. SMS campaigns can cost you anywhere between several hundred to tens of thousands, depending on how many subscribers you have. But the point is that small, mid-sized, and large companies can use these mobile tools, so they can be affordable to all. I get that question a lot. Have you guys heard of proximity marketing when you're walking within a certain area, say within 2 miles of certain stores, and you're checking out apps, okay? And what the marketers are doing is they're saying, okay, if CK is close to a Supercuts within this area during this time of day when it's a downtime and she's checking apps, make sure, and they regulate it through the different cell towers, to send her different advertisements on $1 off, or get an extra, you know, hair blowout, or get an extra color and cut, whatnot, when she's in this area during a downtime. So another way to coupon right outside the store to nearby shoppers is to regulate on different hours when you have downtime. I'm sure there's different days and different hours when your stores do better than others. Maybe your store picks up at night more than it does during the day. I'm just kind of putting that out there with pizza. Maybe it doesn't because you have a big, you know, lunch crowd. Okay? Maybe yours does better on a Saturday than it does on a Tuesday. But just saying, you can also market to consumers when they're near a store during a downtime. Best Buy, have you guys heard of the Best Buy efforts and what they're doing in mobile? Because they really are a terrific example. So Best Buy, and God bless them, their name is Best Buy. So they have to really, I mean, think about it, it's like everywhere. They gotta really deliver on this, okay? Oh, how I would love to be a fly in the boardroom of Best Buy when they're thinking mobile, the empowered shopper, because all of a sudden, all the shoppers are going into Best Buy and saying, that plasma TV is 10% less, 15% less. So Best Buy had to say, well, our value proposition is, guess what? The Best Buy on electronics. Best Buy has as many, if not more, stores in Europe and Asia as it does here. Remember, Europe and Asia, easily 5 to 7 years ahead of us on mobile. While we were laying broadband for social media, they were deploying cell towers like crazy. So if you want to innovate, look to the east. So they figured out, we not only have to make sure that we're always giving the Best Buy, we also have to make sure that when the customers are in the store and they're checking the web, we had to figure out a way to get them to want to go ahead and check out our specials as well, and to alert in-store staff to them. And they provisioned over, I think it is, 1 million QR codes on all their different products so that the customer can scan. Does everyone here know what a QR code is? Okay, QR code, you scan it with an app, so that every single customer is able to find out, if they want, on all of their products, the best price, the product information, and any sweeteners in for the buy that they want to get. If they want to get, a plasma TV, they'll also get an advanced copy of, what's the newest Disney movie coming out? Does anyone know, parents here? The big Disney, Rango, I don't know, whatever the big one is. Finding Nemo, Part 7, okay. But any sweeteners in there, parents, I don't know. But any sweeteners in there to make sure that those customers that are on site are going to buy while they're on site. So what Best Buy has had to do is to constantly check and reconcile with Amazon's Best Buys, with red lasers comparing prices, because it can't be in the position of a customer saying, not only is this plasma TV not the Best Buy, you just have false advertising across the board. While that customer's in the store, while that customer starts pulling up an app and telling everyone on Twitter, Best Buy SUCKS's, because they're not giving you the Best Buy after all. So I very much applaud Best Buy for what they've done, and they've been a model for this space, and look what they've done, folks. Not just a mobile app. They've been able to create a mobile website. Difference between the two is mobile websites, anyone can access a mobile website that has web-enabled features on their phones. Whereas an app, everyone has to download it, and you need a version for iPhone versus Droid versus BlackBerry, so on and so forth. So a mobile website is where you need to go first. Plus, they've made it really easy for their customers where if you need any help, if you have any questions, text to us right when you're in the store. When their customers scan QR codes when they're in the store, this is where it gets really strategic, folks. They're figuring out a way that while CK scans that plasma TV while she's in the store, all of a sudden an in-store clerk is alerted. Someone over in plasma TVs just scanned a QR code to make sure we have the best price and to see what the promos and incentives are. Because nothing replaces this face-to-face. So all of a sudden an in-store clerk, without being like a lurker, is able to go up and say, did you have any questions? Not only is that the best purchase price on that, but I'm going to give you Finding Nemo Part 7 too. I'm going to make sure you get an advanced copy. So they're starting to integrate the mobile experience of scanning a QR code with their sales staff. So this is where it starts to get really, really interesting. Because all of a sudden, I scanned that QR code for that plasma TV. The sales clerk came over. He either did or did not make that buy. If that sales clerk made that buy, great. made sure I made that buy, I should say. If I didn't, that sales clerk can now go to the manager, can now report on an internal server of why that buy didn't take place. This is called real-time intelligence. God bless all the focus groups in the world, and I know they're necessary, but nothing replaces an actual consumer making or not making a decision and the intelligence we learn from that. So now all of a sudden it's like, okay, the whole strategy starting to make a lot more sense because I now see you can glean a lot more product information and why or why not your strategy didn't make sense. Because I'm able to see it wasn't just that it was the best price or it wasn't just that I gave you an incentive for a new movie coming out, in 6 months from now, but that we needed a new sales tactic altogether, or that it worked brilliantly. Make sense? Okay, anyone heard of Aisle 411? Aisle 411 is an app, excuse me, that's my coffee. Aisle 411 is an app that literally, okay, so big box stores, they're a big box, they're a labyrinth. I'm a customer, time is money, I need to find, what am I looking for today? I am looking for a certain kind of paint. I'm tired of these red walls and I want to go green, okay? So I'm going to Home Depot, I'm looking for a certain type of paint. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Aisle 411 tells me, it's like GPS, the exact aisle, the exact shelf of where my product is. It doesn't stop there. Then it says, since you were going to buy that anyhow, here's a 10% off coupon. To which a lot of folks would say, if she's already going to buy that, why give her an extra 10% off? It's a darn good argument, because competitors likely will give the 10% off too, to go with their product. So there's arguments back and forth. Or maybe you reward me. Maybe I don't get a 10% off the paint, but what's something that goes with paint? Some kind of paneling or siding. Maybe you give me a purchase incentive for that. The point is, customers now share with each other where these products are in different stores, as well as like Home Depot, that all over its in-store signage is saying, flip on your smartphone, go to aisle 411, and you can find where different items are, as well as get incentives and rewards for searching for them. My point is, there's a lot of experimentation going on. And what might be right for one store may not be right for another. But at least we have altogether new options when we're at the very, very beginning of this mobile revolution.
How many retailers are using that today, do you know?
Aisle 411? Oh gosh, I'd have to check. At least, well, it's on two sides though, because the retailers are implementing it. So you've got at least 50 retailers on that.
It's 12 markets.
Tell me again, 12 markets?
12 markets.
But we're talking geographical regions? Are they mainly U.S. or are they going all over?
They're all U.S.
Tell me shout out the markets for me real quick.
St. Louis, Springfield, Missouri, San Francisco, Kansas City, Chicago, San Diego, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Baltimore.
Yeah, they got good markets. They've got good markets.
Yeah, so it's a nice mix of primary and secondary.
And it's on the two sides too, remember. The retailers are signing up. You've also got a social element to this too. Because it's like some people say to me, well, should we feature like purchase recommendations, or should we feature product reviews? And I'm like, if you don't, I'm just going to Amazon. You got to make it easier. And they'll say, but what if there are negative reviews? And I say, we've got our work cut out for us, and we've got to make them more positive. Oddly enough, and yet it's always the crises that make page one. There are twice as many positive tweets about products as there are negative ones. But Lord knows if you see a negative one, that's what everyone talks about. A success story with Domino's, with having a certain crisis in its store, turned it around. I'm talking within 24 hours, and it's one of the most successful social media brands. Whereas another large pharmaceutical company had a crisis and was going to turn it around and then never followed up on it and lost a huge opportunity within the social media space. So the point is, whether or not you think you want to feature these product reviews on these different apps, they're going to be featured anyhow. And you have more control when you give more information away. I'm not saying give away your product for free. I'm not saying downgrade it like that, but give more information, give more control before your customers ask for it. Okay, iPads. So iPad, along with being app happy, you're seeing iPads really change different industries. What's interesting is how they're being used in the store. They're being used in the stores in very different ways. One, they can be as mobile catalogs. Okay, you'll see an example come up where you can only show so much inventory within, say, a 20,000 square foot store, but you want to show more inventory once that customer is inside. So, mobile catalogs. They're also fastening these iPads to counters so shoppers can design their own products. I'll show you what Puma as well as Converse are doing, where you can design your own shoes inside the store through iPad applications. But let's think about it this way. We need to arm our in-house staff, our sales clerks, with more information at their fingertips. You know what's so interesting to me? We all know as retailers that our customers are coming in and they're really savvy with their smartphones, and yet, I get it, we don't want our sales clerks on their mobiles all day and texting, but why are we giving the tools, or why are the tools that are in our consumers' hands not also in our clerks' hands, so that they can get that information as well? And of course, we need to hire the right people so they're not texting all day and they're actually servicing the consumer. But it's not fair to be able to have consumers so savvy and say, well, here, and then the clerk, the sales staff, just be, at a loss. So it's interesting. We need to empower and trust our in-house resources as well. And of course, they're testing the device as a potential cash register. Now, we talked about this last night a little bit. Everyone's talking about the smartphone as a digital wallet. That is absolutely going to happen. It's a convenience thing. It makes sense. There will be encryption to it. It's a new generation of smartphones. Expect them to be a couple $100 more. And that's an evolution of payment. But that's not the mobile revolution. That's just an evolution. But Google, the banks, and the carriers are going to be really excited about this. Guess why? Because they get a little portion of profit every time you use your mobile phone to buy. And I'm telling you, this is the way to go. But it's not extremely creative, it's convenience. So when people say to you, oh, did you hear the smartphones are going to become the new digital wallet? You'll just say to them, well, of course, that's evolutionary, but it's not revolutionary. Okay. And you got to drop the geofencing word too, which you'll learn in a second. So iPads make a lot of sense in different in-store retail environments. JCPenney. Age-old retailer, what JCPenney is doing is showing bridal jewelry, its entire catalog, through iPad. So it can show what it has in Knoxville, it can show what it has in the warehouse, it can show what's coming down the pike in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months for these accessories that may not be on site just yet. Why? Because why lose a customer that may have wanted a certain cut or a certain ring or a certain style when you can show them what can be available shortly or what's available within 72 hours of shopping. So again, empowering your sales staff to show what all is available. Okay, so that was purchase incentives. That was like the basics on this strategy and decision-making tools. But the second strategy I want to talk about is in-store experiences. And this is my favorite strategy because we're talking about a deeper relationship and creating an experience with our consumers to inspire purchases, yes, and deeper those connections with brands. Now, if you're in Converse or Puma stores, you can go into these stores and you can, through an iPad app, design your own sneakers, okay? Of course, it's within confines where you get high tops or low tops, and there's certain areas that can be a certain metallic or a matte color, or you can get all kinds of sequins and bells and whistles. Expect to pay at least $500 or $600. What we women will drop on our Manolo Blahniks, but you can get them within 4 weeks and you can design your own sneaker. How well is this taken off? We've seen a lot of press coverage on this. We've seen some exciting feedback on it. I haven't heard a percentage of sales-wise, but I do know that you part with that $500 to $600 at the very beginning, and then your special shoes get mailed to you within 4 to 5 weeks thereafter. but they're trying things. And they're trying things at a lower risk, as it were, because they get paid up front, but they give their customers multiple points and areas of being able to customize. When that customer is in the store, if they're not going to buy from their current fall catalog, or from their current winter season of the sneaks and the like. Anyone been to Home Depot lately, the do-it-yourself? They're provisioning all their products with QR codes as well. Now, the difference here is it's in all their ads, in all of their catalogs, as well as in their store. Now think about the Home Depot shopper. It's a do-it-yourself attitude. So that makes a lot of sense if I'm going to, say, build a new kitchen. Or I'm going, say, to create a new look for my bathroom. I'm going to want to go ahead and scan those QR codes while I'm in the store or while I'm looking at advertisements because I want to learn more about the process. So not only are these QR codes teaching me more about the process and why that product is important, but they're actually teaching me tips and benefits about the product and about what my dream is for my new bathroom or my new patio. So this starts to make a lot of sense, okay? Because this is giving a customer that already has a do-it-yourself, attitude or mindset, it's giving me more information about that product I'm already seeking, and it's giving me more benefit. So what's it doing? It's deepening that brand connection because it's helping and empowering customers. Now, of course, when these are activated outside the store, like on advertisement, there's a buy button. So that mobile commerce and those mobile websites, Home Depot ain't no fool. It's making sure that if you're inside the store or outside the store, you can buy either way. But it's equipping you with do-it-yourself and benefits and tips that you can't always get face-to-face if you're not in the store or if you want to get that information yourself. Okay? Anyone been to Macy's, the magic of Macy's lately? Okay. Commercials, Jessica Simpson, I think we have Bobby Brown, Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, those are all big brands that are associated with Macy's department store, okay? And so what Macy's department store is saying is that it wants to take all of its big brands, like I was saying with Bobby Brown and Sean Diddy Combs, and provide those new fall, summer, spring lines to the customers, but give them more of a backstory on all those brands they know and love. So they've been equipping their store with all these QR codes that me as a customer goes in and is able to scan, and I'm able to get different videos, 30 to 60 seconds in length, where Bobby Brown is talking more about, her cosmetics. Or Sean Diddy Combs is talking about what the great accessories are going to be for this fall. Or Tommy Hilfiger is talking something preppy and what's going to work for that, okay? So I'm just able to see as a customer that's already attracted to these brands and deepen that experience. They're not saying, and get 30% off. They're saying why this brand is important, what was inspirational to them, why they were drawn to this certain color and this line at this season. And what they found is they've done so well with this test. They tested it last Christmas, that it's now an ongoing part of their program. Now a big tip here is, remember, while we in this room know all about QR codes and we're used to barcodes, remember the adoption is less than 30% of the entire US right now. It's still really new to us. So make sure if you do feature QR codes, if you do use those, whether it's do-it-yourself tip videos, talking about your different accessories, make sure you explain what the heck they are to your customer. Because on Fifth Avenue, we had a retailer, the guilty will go nameless. They had these huge QR codes a year and a half ago as big windows displays. And the problem is that Fifth Avenue, well, New York is not the city that never sleeps. Fifth Avenue does close down, and it closed down, usually closes down after 9, maybe 10 o'clock at night. But you still have foot traffic going by. So all this foot traffic would go by, and let's just say, these things aren't particularly pretty. In an extremely high-end luxury store for diamonds and such. And the consumers, it was really funny to look at it for a moment, but you know what? It's not funny when you don't get the punchline. And they're just like, WTF, and just kept walking. And so they really, really got a lot of that feedback in the press, and I'm like, guys, just have something that says features with this. What is this? What Macy's does is they feature, if you don't already have a QR reader on your phone, just text, because no matter how, jazzed up and tricked out your phone may or may not be, you can still text to get a certain reader. Remember, a QR code can download a video. You know what a QR code can also do? It can launch an email for you. You know what mobile is great for? Forget selling, customer service. I've seen some great tech companies that'll now say, you can call us, or you can go online for live help. Have you guys ever done that with a tech company? Or just text us. And I've been able to get through a problem resolution through text, depending upon how severe the problem is, under 2 minutes. And I'm like, I love that. I can call you. I mean, who really uses a mobile phone for a call anymore? But I can call you. I can go online. I can text you. However I want to contact you, you make that available for me. Ergo, I value you as a customer, and I'll stay with you as a brand. Oxfam, charity. One thing Oxfam has done in the UK is they have these temporary, these pop-up stores, where they'll get from Annie Lennox, they will get from Mick Jagger, all these different articles that they've worn, these clothing, these jewelry, and what they do on the tags, and it's brilliant, is they feature a QR code, but the QR code, when I go ahead and scan that, is Annie Lennox or Mick Jagger telling me, this is why this piece of clothing was so important to me. And this is the concert that I wore it in. And this is why I hope you enjoy it. And this is why it's important to me for you to support Oxfam. So now all of a sudden, 100% of the profits are going to charity. But now, I'm not only learning that, well yeah, Annie Lennox wore this on her Medusa tour. But I'm actually able to scan that, and she's able to tell me, this is why it's important to me, why I wanted to give it away, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Win, win, win. Toys R Us, who here has kids? Who here brings said kids to toy stores? Never. Who here brings them? Who here? Oh, no, you can tell me what the next Disney movie is. Who here has brought their kids to Disney World? Okay, did you use the app that tells you how long you need to wait in line? Because I understand Disney World ain't so great for the parents. Okay, so you know what the app at Disney World, so it's a location-based app in the sense that it's for that venue. And it's not just telling you, buy this, buy this, buy this. The app that's the greatest one at Disney World is the one that tells you, BTW, Pirates of the Caribbean, 30-minute wait right now. Space Mountain, hour and a half. Because it's like very strategic when you're figuring out the different, games and rides you're going after. Okay, so if you did bring your kids to toy stores, Toys R Us, this is in Hong Kong, has QR codes, get it? Because the R codes. Okay. Oh, okay. They have their R codes, okay? And what happens is, there's a QR code next to every toy. So I'm going across and seeing Buzz Lightyear, okay? And there's a little QR code, and my little, well, the hypothetical 3-year-old takes a scan of that, and all of a sudden Buzz Lightyear is doing a little song and dance. So my 3-year-old is what? Now wants Buzz Lightyear even more. I can't imagine with a store the size of Toys R Us and the amount of QR codes and the amount of videos and the imagination of that 3-year-old, how many toys I'm going to walk out with. But darn smart marketing on their side. And guess what? You know what's really smart? They don't only just sell Buzz Lightyear. They can go back to Disney and say, we're doing even more advertising for you on our shelf now too. Another revenue stream. Okay? Because what is Disney all about? It's about that animated experience more than anything. So you can get really creative. I say beware of toy stores with kids, but you know what? You can get really, really creative with these. Who here likes to have wine and cheese? Okay, I'm a foodie. I love wine and cheese. Mount Townsend Creamery started their Shelf Talker program, again using QR codes. But whether it's a brie, whether it's a blue, whether it's a Gouda, now the head chef at Mount Townsend creates 30, 60-second videos explaining why the blue is done just right, what's just perfectly paired with the Gouda, the brie, so on and so forth. And I can, as a consumer, scan those and figure out, is it a particularly pungent cheese? Will it go well with beef? Again, new ways to use QR codes when time was 24 months ago. Cheese wouldn't talk. Cheese was just, well, cheese, and it was brie or blue. So there's different ways you can be creative. QR codes, gosh, they can be free, they can be a few, be $50, a few $100. If you want to, I'll be happy to sell you one for $1 million, give you a deal today. These are all affordable, and especially with experimenting. Is anyone here using QR codes in their retail establishments already? Enlighten us. When did you guys start using them, and are they going to videos? Are they making it more easy to do transactions?
It's usually just more information on a product.
Yeah.
And so you scan it in the store, and basically we capture information off of it, so that somebody can contact you about the product if you're interested.
All go to mobile optimized landing pages, obviously. But no, I say this because you'd be amazed. Marketers will go ahead and create a QR code that gives you more information. And we all know that we use these QR codes on our smartphones, right? And then we scan them, and then they forget to mobile optimize the landing page. Have you guys ever tried to see a website on your smartphone that wasn't optimized and has mice type? And I think, why didn't you optimize? Are you tracking how many scan and lands are actually those landing pages? Have you seen that go up? Have you seen it plateau?
I can't talk to it, it's not part of my world.
Gotcha, okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
CJ, before you go on, question. One of the things before this mobile revolution, if you will,
Yes.
was to get consumers into stores and keep them there, because the longer they stayed in the store, the more they would buy. The dynamic of what you track now has got to be changing, I would suspect. In other words, the more QR codes I scan, the longer I'm in that store, but I'm now focused not throughout the store, but on one item. It becomes very...
That's a good one.
So I just wonder how these statistics will change about time in store. Does it improve purchase price, total basket, if you will? Does it result in less because it's just, oh my God, I had 5 minutes, I spent all 5 minutes doing these 2 QR codes on this cheese, I didn't get the hell I wanted, I gotta get the hell out now. And it becomes an overload of information that I didn't plan on taking in during that visit.
That's gonna be one thing that's gonna remain to be seen because it's so new. But I can tell you this, if I'm a smart retailer and I got talking cheese, I'm gonna make sure and not only point you to why this brie cheese is great, but how it pairs beautifully with a certain wine that guess what I sell. Or, a certain beef or certain, appetizer that I sell. So there's some upsell opportunities. That's a great question. And that's something we're going to have to find out over time. Also, what's interesting is you're going to have different types of shoppers where I'm going into a convenience store. I do this all the time. I live in New York. I'm in and out of that convenience store. I am not dillying and dallying.
Right.
But I'm drawn into, a certain specialty store, and all of a sudden I just wasted an hour, because the experience is there. So it depends. So I'm sorry I can't give you an answer on that, but that's something that would be an interesting one for us to track through the quarters because that's the bigger picture. That's the bigger question.
They sit down at a computer and next thing you know, an hour and a half has gone by. Where the hell the frick an hour and a half go, right?
All the time.
Right, it just disappears. So is that going to happen in stores now? And some people are going to be charging out of their stores with nothing in their basket because they just realized, crap, I'm late for my meeting because they spent all the time researching this cheese and it was talking to me the whole time.
There's going to be a path. There's going to be a path. I mean, we're going to get used to this. The next thing. There's 3 types of mobile users, they say. Bored now. I have time on my hands. So I'm just checking out things, playing Angry Birds. Urgent now. Is my flight on time? And repetitive now. I'm a day trader. I'm not really a day trader, hypothetically. Not my hypothetical 3-year-old that I bring to Toys R Us. and I'm constantly checking my portfolio. I'm constantly checking it, so it's repetitive now. So it's finding out kind of where that customer goes in that axis. I don't know yet. All right, my favorite one was experiences, but this is where we get really interesting. The third strategy for inspiring in-store sales nets out as developing branded content activities, okay? Through mobile that encourage sales and WOM, word of mouth, and sharing between prospects. So you gotta do something so interesting that it's worth sharing to your friends, to your colleagues, to your family. For instance, has anyone heard of the Tesco Home Plus over in Korea and what they did in the subways? There is a great video that I wish I could show. Do we have?
The whole wall filled with, you can shop before you get in there.
So what Tesco did, exactly, what Tesco did was it was the #2 retailer, and this was a grocery store. And I'll send you guys the video because it's just a knockout. They were the #2 retailer, grocery store in the Korea market. And Korea it's like the second, just right behind us, insofar as amount of hours working per week. They're the second hardest region, okay? Hardest working region. They don't have time to shop. It's like another thing to do at the end of a very long day. So Tesco was like, how do we get a leg up on our competition? We can't start building a ton of more stores right now. It would just take too long in the build out of it. That would take too long to deploy. So all of a sudden they said, wait, what if we made it an activity that was convenient for our target market? Now luckily, unlike New York City subways, in Korea their subways are completely wired. Again, while we were laying broadband, Asia and Europe were making sure that everything was mobile enabled. So what they did was they deployed just like a supermarket, so it was familiar to the user. They deployed large, like billboard signs that were backlit, just like it was a produce aisle, of all these different food, produce, all those items and categories, while I'm waiting on my subway, and I can scan the corresponding QR code in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and my groceries are then delivered to me at night to my door. Now at first, I might only buy a few things, because what if the apples aren't good, or the produce isn't good? And at first, I'm going to stick to things like Snapple and different milks that I've trusted forever. But if Tesco delivers, and delivers well, and all of a sudden, while I was waiting for that A-train for 30 minutes, because our service has been cut in half, and all of a sudden I can use that idle time for shopping time, am I really going to want to haul to my supermarket from here on out, or just make it easier for myself? Okay? And think about it too. It's just like the Amazon model. Once they have their database of your preferences and your likes of what you want, they can come back to you and say, you know what, the meat's on special this week, or those Snapples are on special this week. So here, it's an activity. It gave them growth of 30%, and all of a sudden it was marketing 101 and a benefit for the customer of creating shopping time during idle time waiting for the subway, as well as looking at this as a case of, this is mobile as a productivity tool, not as a shopping tool, and not as novelty. So when the first time I heard about this case study and how brilliantly they deployed it, I just walked around Manhattan for days and kept looking at walls and sidewalks and thinking, everything could be a store. The back of a bathroom stall could be a store. All these walls could be stores. Look what we could do. Because we brought the store to the people versus the people to the store. So I'm just saying, there's ways to be really smart and really convenient and benefit rich for your audience. But you got to go back to Marketing 101 principles. Make it a benefit for your audience. Solve a problem for them.
Is it still up? You said it's
Oh, it's still up. I'll send you guys all the video after this. It's tremendous.
They put it to
Subway
stations.
And the thing is, yeah, we'll watch it right after on the break because it's just so amazing the way it's backlit. It looks like, I mean, it's just tremendous. But here's the problem with the subways in New York City. They have all these QR codes. Great, guys. No, not wired. I can't do a dang thing with all your billboards, with all your QR codes, you know, while I'm here, literally a captive audience in a tin tube, you know, getting to work every day for half an hour. So there's some infrastructure problems we might need to look at. But the point is that they have done tremendously well. So we'll look at this video afterwards. Who knows about the Tommy Hilfiger augmented reality app? Okay. So Tommy Hilfiger said, how can we increase engagement with the brand? And how can we have something that's share-worthy and gets people to our stores as well as our pop-up stores? How can we attract more of an audience? Well, we're known for our preppy clothing, and people enjoy the brand. The brand is highly respected and lauded, so it created an augmented reality app. Does everyone here know what augmented reality is? Don't be ashamed if you don't know what it is. Okay. Augmented reality is, as it sounds, you are augmenting reality for your audience, okay? Through an app, you're able to open your smartphone's camera, scan the area in front of you, and we can do this during a break and I'll show you some neat stuff, and you're able to see reality being changed for you. For example, time was they wanted me to use a map to find New York City subways. And I still contend to this day, whoever was the map creator, whoever started this insanity of the map that folds in, you know what I'm talking about. The devil did that. I mean, like who? And it never goes back. And it's just, okay. And so you walk around, you're really a tourist in New York because you're really trying to figure out where the subways are. Now I just have the subway app. I scan in front of me. Oh, the one line is here. The two line is here. Think about how much easier our life would have been on a college campus when we were freshmen, instead of those big maps or having to ask the big, scary seniors where things were and them always telling us the wrong place because it was really funny to them. No, I'm not scarred from that, not at all. Okay, but now you just have an app where you click the area in front of you, your dorm here. Forget looking through the New York Times for an apartment. Now, I'll just click on what's called a Layaar, L-A-Y-A-R, for augmented reality, which I'll show you guys. Scan in front of me in Chelsea area of Manhattan or Flatiron, and it says, I'm for rent, cozy 1-bedroom. I'm for rent, 2-bedroom. And you're able to find out information like that. So all of a sudden, the world around us gives us more information because we just scan the area in front of us. This is what I was talking to you last night about. If I was in the store and I was scanning, you know, one unit or one piece or one shoe rack, but I was scanning in front of me, all of a sudden I could see the virtual club. That could have some legs. But the point is that this augmented reality, this is a fake piece of clothing that a person has gone ahead and scanned their friend, and they're trying on Tommy Hilfiger. Does someone need us? They're dying to hear about AR. Come on in. Okay. Has scanned the area in front of them, and all of a sudden, I'm virtually trying on Tommy Hilfiger. Now, will this augmented reality experiment work? We'll see. But it's being shared. And they're creating a microsite of all these pictures, and, of course, Twitter hashtags around Prep World for Tommy Hilfiger. But just think what you can do to alter the reality, augment it in front of you, for it to be a deeper, richer experience for your brand. It may or may not make sense, but then again, SMS may make sense, or an app may make sense, or a mobile website, because now we have so many tools. So these are for the pop-up stores and virtual fitting rooms. They're called the reality-powered preppy fitting room to help promote their spring and summer line, and they give anyone with a mobile phone with, you know, camera ability, and it's web-enabled, the ability to augment reality in front of them. And they're creating a large living document, a large living site of all these different pictures people are taking in the cool Prep World clothing. Again, it's just creating more brand activity around Tommy Hilfiger. Okay, for all you guys that have kids out there, do you know what Paddington Bears are? Okay, remember Happy Meal toys? I'm sure we still have it. Okay. When I just don't really eat Happy Meals more, but when I was a kid, it was so important to me. They had the Muppet Baby Happy it was so important for me to get all 4. I mean, hook, line, and sinker, I just bought right into that marketer streak. So I wanted to get all 4, and we had to go 4 times in a row. We had to make sure we were there, Dad, at the beginning of the week, because they might run out of the Kermit on the skateboard, and we can't miss out on Miss Piggy, you know, playing tennis and whatnot. I just hook, line, and sinker. Those marketers had me. Okay, so time was, physical toys were important to kids. And it's not that they're no longer important to kids, but guys, what's different about this generation now? They were born digital. They are digital natives. And they now don't understand why they can touch their smartphones and things happen. They can touch a tablet, but they can't touch a plasma TV. It doesn't make sense to them that a screen wouldn't go places. It's just a natural way that things are to them. So 7-Eleven says, how can we get more traffic to our stores? Now, understand, this is in Hong Kong, okay? Because 7-Eleven is, it's not just that we Americans have put 7-Elevens on every block. Oh, we couldn't stop there. We had to dot the world with those hot dogs and big gulps, is it? Slurpees? Oh, those Slurpees too. I kept them in business for a while during some younger years. Okay, so 7-Eleven said, let's partner. And here's another one, the non-competing brand, Paddington Bears. Because we want to bring a younger demographic in. Why? Because younger demographics, they like a lot of Slurpees. They like a lot of sugary drinks where the markup is like, oh, it's insane. It's like 1,000%, right? So what they said was, you can, for a limited time, collect all the different Paddington Bears, like you could collect for a limited time those Happy Meal toys, at different 7-Eleven locations. Because not only are we going to give you different bears, but the location downtown, midtown, uptown, they won't have the same bears. So you wouldn't want to miss out one week on going to at least 3 7-Elevens, would you? And the kids, with their parents, would go and scan the area inside the store and in front of the store, and they're able, I know it looks freaky, but stay with me, it does. But they were able to collect a Paddington Bear and put it in their collection. And then guess what happens? Those little competitive kids. Some kids had 2 of the same yellow bear, and some kids had 3 of the same tennis bear. And what they would do is they would trade them with their friends, so it becomes a social game. Kind of like baseball cards. I'll give you 2 of these for 1 of those. The point is, they were able to partner with another brand to get more loyalty and curiosity to their store. And they did it in a way that, well, a virtual Paddington Bear, I don't care. Doesn't matter if I don't care. If my audience cares, that's where I need to focus. So it's an activity that promoted sharing and word of mouth. Want you guys to know about Layaar. This is an easier way to start your augmented reality. L-A-Y-A-R for augmented reality. What happens here is, it's like, you know how Google is a search engine for text-based searches or image-based searches? This is like a search engine where you download the app to your phone. They give a free development kit, so you get some techies to create a layer for you. Okay, and they, again, give it to the techies, let them do their stuff, just tell them your vision. But you can, as a consumer, I've downloaded Layaar, and I've decided to click on all the top museums, all the top fast food restaurants, and wherever I am, I can scan the area in front of me, and depending upon my location, it will go ahead and tell me more information about my world. Whether it's a museum, whether it's a library, whether it's a landmark, whether it's houses for rent, apartments for rent, or where the quickest Taco Bell, where the nearest Taco Bell is to me. But through Layaar, this is becoming a much more recognizable brand. It's an easy way to create an augmented reality activity within your store, within your area. Okay? So you can get up and running with this in 4 to 6 weeks versus augmented reality could take you easily 6 months, 8 months, a year, depending upon the complexity. Okay? This again, this gives you ideas of how you can use these different layers to create activities. Again, if I see anyone here with a map, one of those Eagle Maps after today, you're going to be hearing from me because you really can use your smartphone to navigate the world. Okay, one more I want to talk to you guys about, and then I'm going to sum up. Anyone here know what geofencing is? Okay, I want you to
after I tell you I want you to drop this at happy hour or the next board meeting or both, and you'll sound all sorts of smart. Used to be, we would send out physical mail, and we would send it out within a certain geographical area. When I say used to be, of course I'm kidding, because we still do that. Or if it's business to business, we send it out to a certain function. Marketing directors, HR directors, and the like. Now, we can have sound the gap. And inside the store, I am getting my customers, I'm giving them incentives to sign up for my mobile alerts, my SMS alerts. Whether it's coupons, incentives, information, okay. Then I can create a geographical fence, a geofence, a virtual perimeter, say 3 miles, 13 miles around every single one of my stores all over the US. And this is just read by the technologies. And when you cross the border in St. Louis and are within 3 miles of the gap, you get a text. When you're in Dallas and you're within 3 miles of the gap, because you've already gone ahead and opted into their SMS alerts, they're able to, once you're in that geographical fence, that geofence, they're able to send you a text. And that starts to make a lot of sense for a lot of different purposes. It's done through a third party. PlaceCast is the big one that does it, but they're seamless in the background, so it seems like it's coming right from Bank of America, or right from Walmart, whatnot. Okay, but you're able to use this based on location. Anyone here ever been to Vegas? I say Vegas Convention and Visitors Bureau should go ahead and send me a text with geofence as soon as I land, and I'm able to put my smartphone on, and it should say, hey, glad you're here. Just wanted you to be rest assured at the beginning of your stay, what stays here, what happens here, stays here. Worry not. But if you have trade shows, if you have big events, for launch events for your franchisees, and you have them come into Dallas, welcome them. Have them sign up for the SMS alerts. Welcome them, and then upon arrival, let them know if they need help, if they need more information. But understand, there's all these different tools, and I haven't even begun to really scratch the surface, because we only have an hour, hour and a half here today with this. So much to cover. But there's so much available to us at the very, very beginning, whether we are, A, giving our customers purchase decision and incentive-making tools like those coupons, and we give them to them before they even ask, like the Best Buy model. B, that we are looking at mobile-enabled commerce. Sure, getting them in the door is important, but what we do once they're inside, that's really where we're winning, most importantly. Okay, so mobile-enabled commerce. So when you got your colleagues, you'll say, yes, mobile commerce, important. Mobile shopping, just the way it is now. But mobile-enabled commerce is where we have to get really strategic and inspire experiences and deeper connections. Also, just embracing the new normal as it is and not asking, hey, can you turn off your phones during a speech, or will you not tweet during this time? Absolutely unheard of. The new normal, I embrace it. Yes, it may not be as easy to, when was the last time you had a discussion with your boss and they weren't constantly looking down at their mobile device, but they weren't being rude. It's just the new normal. It's just the way things go. But the big things that I'm hoping that you guys take away, and one thing is I would love for you guys to stay in touch to tell me how you're developing these different mobile initiatives, because I'm always using success stories in my different speeches, is to use mobile as an incentive to draw prospects into the store, but I really want to find out what you're doing once they're inside, because that's where it can be really interesting, as well as too. Remember, it's just as important that we're creating activities for them so that they advertise for us and become our advocates, and they share that information, and they WOM, word of mouth information, we now call it a verb like we did with Google. They WOM about our products and our services for us. Also, think about how mobile can be used not just as a marketing tool, problem resolution tool, customer service tool. Also, how can it improve productivity? If it improves productivity, it still increases the bottom line. No? Less cost. There's me. There's a QR code. So, what time are we at right now? How well am I doing on time?